What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome in. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Excited for y'all to be here. What's up, Evelyn? What's up, Lee? What's happening? What's up, Mama? Oh, how you get that? I guess it gives you a longer name. I'm like, how did you get that Instagram handle? Softball Mom. That's cool. What's up, Brianna? What's up, your boy? What's up, Ellie? Y'all welcome. Hey, put in the chat. I like to know where y'all coming in from. So let me know where you are tuning in from. Where you from? Where you from? What state you in? Let me know. What's up, Vicky? What's up, Poppy? Let me know where you're from. What's up, Hannah? All right. We got a lot of questions today again, y'all. So super excited for y'all to be here. Favorite time of the week? What? Let's go, guys. Oh, that's cool. Where y'all from? Let me know. Heidi, what's happening? What's up, Hannah? Cali, let's go. West Coast, California love. You already know. I'm from the Bay Area. Okay, Cali. Cali is strong over here. Kansas. All right, Missouri. I see y'all in the house. What's up, North Rising Stars? Great to connect with you, man. Cleveland, what's up? Texas, what's up? Let me know where y'all from. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Val. California. Miami. Okay, little Miami in the action. Vegas. Y'all are from all over. Like, I don't take this for granted, and I'm super happy that y'all join every week. Where am I at? So, what's up, Tampa? So, I am in Virginia, Hampton, Virginia right now. I coach at a school in Virginia, but I'm from the Bay Area, California. Moved here, though, from Washington State. Went to college in Louisiana. So, I've been all over the place. Lived in New Mexico for a little bit, not a little bit, 6 years. I lived in Colorado for a brief minute. So I've been all over the country. So thanks for asking. I've been around for sure. And I've done this thing for a very long time. So super excited again to be here with y'all today. We're going to jump into these questions. But y'all, if you just joined, make sure you throw me where you're from in the chat. Let them know where you're from. But remember, just before we get started, I do this every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and all the times in between. And if you ever want to submit a question, you always can check my stories prompts the day before. I try to post it like Monday night, so that I can see it the entire day. It gives you an opportunity to answer the questions or ask the questions, and then I will bring them to the call and answer them for you. I don't take questions directly on live unless I run out of questions. And you can also DM me right after if you're like, oh, I had a question. We just got off the live. I want to know how I can ask this question for her. You can always DM me too. But what's up, New Jersey? Okay, Cali, I see y'all. NorCal, let's go. Madison, I see y'all. All right, let's jump in. All right, so number one question I have is, does playing travel ball matter to get you recruited? And so some of these questions you'll realize will be repeated from week to week because people asking the question, they don't go back and watch my lives. So does travel ball matter? We all know the answer to that. That is 100% yes. And here is why. Because as a college coach, September 1st going into your junior year is the first time as a Division I coach that I can talk to you directly as a player. Okay. But it does not mean that I start recruiting you on September 1st of your junior year. In fact, for some athletes, they're getting on coaches' radars as 8th graders, as 9th graders, as 10th graders, as 11th graders. And how does that happen? It has a lot to do with your ability to be connected to a travel ball organization that builds relationships with those particular programs. So if I'm interested in learning more about you and I can't talk to you directly, what do? I pick up the phone and I call the travel ball organization. Okay. So that is how we get to know you, besides you coming to our camps at an early age. But even if you come to our camp, we're going to ask you, what travel ball team do you play for? If you notice that, if you're a younger athlete and you've been to a camp and they've asked you that question, it's probably because they want to know more about you, but can't learn more about you outside of that space. Make sense? So 100% matters. Why does it also matter? Because we are expecting you to develop at an elite level with your travel team and compete against other teams in the country that are also at an elite level. So when you do that, we can go to camp. We feel better spending our time at a tournament or a field where there are 2 teams that are competitive versus 1. We get more out of that experience and we get to see how you shine and how you respond in that environment. It makes sense? So those are the reasons why travel ball is important. Like when I grew up, I didn't play travel ball at all, but I was at different times. I also sent VHS tapes to get recruited. So it's a completely different situation nowadays. Jacqueline, what's up? Sophie, what's up? All right. So number 2 question, do colleges prefer to go through the transfer portal than recruiting a girl from high school? And I would say this is a program to program answer, but I'm going to tell you this. College coaches have a system. They have a way of doing things. They like what they like. And I would say, unless they're at the top level in softball, so like Power 4 schools, more people are willing to conform to their way of doing things, and they want to find the best of the best, the like less than 1% athletes, to help them win a national championship. That's where the transfer portal really peaks. I would say in all other spaces, most athletes aren't happy, so they try to find another spot. But then that creates sort of like not a barrier, but it creates a little bit of like, well, why are they leaving that school? What do they like about that school? Okay, can we provide that? Will they fit into our system? So the short answer to that is it depends by the school, but really most coaches like to mold the athletes into the program that they've already created versus trying to create a program to mold to that athlete that they're bringing in that already has experience in other places. So I would say we like high school athletes because, again, we get to sort of shape you into what you want, and we get to reap the benefits of developing you over time versus, again, getting an athlete from a program and having to kind of break down maybe what they've already learned and habits they've already created 2 years prior, if that makes sense. So I would say majority of us are going to definitely go after the younger high school athletes, but there are some that want to elevate one position in their program, or an athlete left that they realized they needed to fill that spot, so they go to the transfer portal. That's kind of how that works, if that makes sense. So good question. What's up, Josie? What's up, Perez? What's up, the real big tune? I see you. All right. So what should high school freshmen include on their player profile sheets? So I did a video a couple weeks ago about player profile sheets and using a link tree to allow us to scan one link versus a whole bunch of link tree QR codes. So I saw some of you guys really updating that, which is really cool. But I'm a freshman. What should I be adding on my player profile sheet? I don't have much yet to say. In general, we want you to have, again, the big 3, your name, your grad year, your position, a picture of you, a clear picture of your face, okay, the contact information for your travel ball coach, your social media information, okay, and if you have a lessons coach, like a hitting or a pitching coach, and they're maybe have some connections, put them on there as well. We don't need your parents' information. We're not going to ever call them. So you don't really need that, but your travel ball coach is going to be really important to that. I would also suggest having your fall schedule on there. So that way, when you hand it to coaches, they can know like, oh, she's going to be at these tournaments. If I'm at this spaces, I can kind of go out there and see her. Okay. If you have any accolades from your 8th grade year, put it in there. But I think also what you should do, one of the things I have my athletes do is highlight some of their skills and strengths. So again, knowing what your strengths are really important. But let's say I have an athlete that is really fast, a 2.8 home to first. Put that on there. 4.0 GPA. Put that on there, right? Let's see what else. I throw 65 miles per hour rise ball. Put that on there, right? And I'm not saying that speed is always important, but these are definitely trigger things that are like alert, look at me, want to learn more about me, if that makes sense. And if you don't have those extremes, I'm a good gap to gap hitter. I score, I help produce runs. But this goes back to my strengths that we talked about before. Okay. So hopefully that helps answer that question. I got a question that says, how do I know if a coach might be interested in an athlete if they can't talk to them? So I just kind of answered that question, right? Through the travel ball organizations. So that would be how you would know if a coach is interested in you. Also, a person asked me the other day or today if a direct message inviting them to camps was a good sign. And I said, yes, if a college coach direct messages you and sends you college camp information, they are interested in you. So make sure you take heed to that and try to see if you can get there, right? They can't say much else. So they're sending you a camp invite through DMs, 100% reach out. If they're sending you mail, like postage mail, a school is, that's basically telling you that you are on a school's radar, right? So make sure you take heed to that as well and look at that program and determine if that's a program that you want to be going to. Someone asked me, do I offer mental coaching for athletes? I 100% do. My 360 Athlete program is all about the mental performance side as well as developing elite level skills and habits. So we're checking your skills to make sure they match what college coaches are looking for. And if not, how do you fix that? And then we help them develop recruiting plans and roadmaps. So that is what we do. So 100% yes, I do that. So definitely reach out, send me the word elite in a DM if you're interested to learn more about that. All right. So high school freshman with goals of playing in college, what should she do now? So let's just go through a couple of the classes. So freshmen, what should you do now? We talked about this last week as well. You should be attending college camps, okay? I would suggest trying to find at least one out of your area. So maybe a flight, but also try to attack one or two that are in your proximity of state at least. But definitely get out there right now in the fall, because this is the time that you are trying to get on college coaches' radars for the summer if they're a Division I school. So getting in their presence now, which is why high school softball in the fall, it doesn't hurt you, but you got to recognize that you still have to go out there and get to these camps, because again, it doesn't change our recruiting process or our recruiting timeline. So you have to go out there earlier and get on their radar so that way in the summer, they have an opportunity to put you on their list. What's up, Swing RX? I see you, Rod. Thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting. All right, let's say you're a sophomore. I love the sophomore class. It's the best runway, in my opinion. And so as a sophomore, you should be targeting more of the schools that you're trying to get to 100%. So I would say you're trying to put up those 2 to 3, maybe 4 camps of your top schools. Now you need to have a process and a plan, which is what we help our athletes with. But if you don't have a process or a plan, just don't go throwing things out there, trying to just see if they stick. But find one program first. Maybe I would suggest we call them the dream schools, but go to that school first and see if there's any feedback from there that's letting you know that they're interested in you moving forward. Okay. In the fall, you also should be training some of the other things like your mental performance, your strength training. You should be having lessons where you're understanding your swing, your mechanics. And so Rod Swing RX is a really great resource. If you guys don't know him, really great resource. And he breaks down hitting like no other, but not even the hitting, but the philosophy, the how you understand your weaknesses and your strengths. And so you need to have a hitting coach that's really preparing you and developing you to compete at a high level, right? You got to go watch his videos, okay? Because he always says, if you prepare for strikes, then if you get a ball, what are you going to do, right? It's just some things that are really cool. Check it out. So that's what I would say freshmen should be doing. That's what sophomores should be doing. The main thing is, how do I get on a college coach's radar for the summer, right? So that way they can evaluate me and compare me to other athletes in my age group, so that I can determine if I put you on my September 1st call list, if that makes sense. So you're doing a lot to make sure you get in that space. So good question. Let's see. What else we got? What types of questions should you ask coaches in emails to show your interest and engage? First of all, let's check in with y'all. How many of you guys struggle with emails? Raise your hands. How many of you guys struggle with sending emails? Let me know. Raise your hand. Put a 1 in the chat. Give me something. I do. What you got? Let me know real fast. Let me know. Stella, what's up? What's up, Eagle Softball? What's up, Stacy? Good to see y'all. Thanks for joining. Nobody struggles with emails? Y'all all are good with emails. Guess because y'all all got my email template, huh? Okay, well, let's go then. I love it. All right, so let's jump into it. First of all, your emails should not be asking questions per se. So I think let's get that out of the way is, you're not asking questions in your emails. You are sending a quick introduction to a coach. I see you, Perez. Thanks for answering, Stacy. Thanks for answering. So, your email should be a quick introduction, a quick invite to your tournament or your games, a quick recap of your games, right? A quick update on what you've been working on. You're kind of giving information to the coaches about you, so that at no point should you really be asking questions. If you want to know about camps, you should go on their website and find their camps. And sometimes they have automated responses where they will send you information on their camps. So I would say there's not much you should do to be engaged. It's more for information purposes to let the coaches be aware of who you are and to keep them updated. When it gets points to questions, that's another time. That'll be another part of this process. It wouldn't be right now. Okay. So I hope that helps. All right. So let's see. We got another question. I'm in between seasons. What type of email should the players send to coaches? 2028 preferably. So I just kind of told you that. So I have a email sequence that I do with my players in my 360 athlete program. And we have a sequence. We send at least 4 emails to coaches every month because of how we do it. So I would say you kind of heard a little bit of sequence in the last answer, but I'm not going to tell you exactly how we do it because unfortunately that's a little insider tip that we have. But what I will say is technically in the fall and in the summer, you should always, there is an easy sequence to follow that people just don't necessarily think about, right? If you follow my recruiting email, it basically talks about how you want to send your schedule to the coach a month in advance, right? And then from there, about 2 weeks before that, you want to send something else. And then the week of, you want to send something else. So if you understand that concept, then you're sending about 4 emails or 3 emails at least before you even go play a tournament. So again, that's kind of an insider tip. I'm sorry I can't really give you that because I know that that's a struggle that people have. But you wouldn't need me if you knew the answer to that part. So sorry about that. All right. So just started junior year, have been slowly emailing colleges, gone to some camps, posted videos online. What else to do now that juniors are in high school and would like to play Division One? So getting her name out there in the area, but how does she get her name out there and out of the state? So this goes back to the camp strategy we just talked about. Now she's a junior, so I think we have to be cautious about where we're throwing money out when it comes to camps. I think there has to be some sort of realities about like where my skill is compared to the schools that I'm going to try to go after at this point. I want everybody to know that 7% of the softball community plays at the next level, period. 7%. So you might have 10 people on your team. 7 of them will play, less than 2% of them will play at the next level. Okay. And so that's really important to understand. So let's do this a different way. 100 athletes, 7 of them will play at the next level. So 0.07%. No, that's not right. We're going to get that math right. Okay. There's a smaller number. Okay. Now there's only less than 1% of the population that actually play at the next level, at the Division I level. So there are some ways that you can still play Division I when you're a junior and you're a senior. So I don't want to say that. But I would say, like, definitely you should not be throwing out, help me out with that, Rod. But definitely as a junior and senior, you shouldn't be throwing yourself out there to some of those maybe Power 4 schools, because at that point in time, they're usually pretty clear on what they want and what they're looking for, or they already have athletes on their radar. So if your athlete is a junior, I think the best thing to do is, if you want to expand your horizon, which was the question is what are the camps that you're looking at? And then how do they fit what your non-negotiables are? And then how do you get in front of them at their camps? That would be the best advice from you for that. Okay. And then how are you keeping up with your social media that's allowing them to go and check on you and see kind of how you're progressing? All right. So good questions. All right. Let's see. I have another question. What's the difference between an unofficial visit and an official visit? All right. So an official visit and an unofficial visit. So an unofficial visit sometimes means that you were invited to come to the school, to check out the school, to do a tour, to meet the team, but you are paying for it out of your own pocket. And an official visit is where they are interested in you. They want you to interact with the team. They want you to hang out with them, but they're going to pay for it. They're going to pay for your flight. They're going to pay for your parents' flight sometimes. They're going to pay for your room. They're going to pay for your food. So that would be the main difference. Both of them, there could be interest. I would definitely say, just think about it. If someone's going to pay for something, they're probably a little bit more interested. If they're not paying for something, they might be interested, but are just not sure. Okay. So in either case, An official visit or official visit does not mean an offer. Okay. So that's keep that separate. It just means that there is some interest there. And as I mentioned to you guys, there's 4 steps in the recruiting process. Okay. There is an exposure phase or identification. There is an evaluation phase. There's a comparison phase, and there's an offer phase. So if you're in the official visits and the unofficial visits, you are being compared. And more than likely, there are going to be a bunch of athletes or a few athletes that come with you on that same visit, because they're also kind of in the comparison process of, do I really need another pitcher versus the third baseman? Well, do I like her personality? Do I like her family? Okay, cool. Like, maybe we can make this work. So you're in the comparison phase if you're on phone calls with coaches, if you're on visits with coaches. Only when they officially say, we want to offer you an opportunity to come to be a whatever that is and play for our program, do you now have an offer? Okay, so I want to just make sure you are aware of that as we move forward. I had another question. I thought I screenshot all my questions, but I think I forgot a few. So let me just think about it for a second. Another question I have is, I got it right here. What are the top 3 do's and don'ts for rising juniors on September 1st call with coaches? Any juniors in the house? Any juniors in the house? September 1st is coming up. Any juniors in the house? Let me know. What's up, John? What's up, E. Cortez? What's up, Kara? Thanks for joining. By the way, remember, if you have questions, I always want to answer your questions. So make sure you send them to me the night before, the day before. Okay, Nukes, I see you. And let's make sure that you give me those questions. And I don't answer them when you type them in here, but I will take them from you, 7th grader. Let's go. But I will take them and answer them as I get them. All right. So do's and don'ts. September 1st, talking to a coach in general. First of all, you need to have an introduction of yourself. You need to be able to talk about yourself. You need to be able to tell us who you are. Okay. What you like, what your value is. Tell me about your team. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your siblings. What other sports you play. Why you're interested in our school. I would say you also want to start talking about your non-negotiables. And if you don't know what your non-negotiables are, you probably shouldn't be talking to those schools, because it might help guide you in a way that, is this school the right fit for you? So non-negotiables is a really big thing. Okay. If a school calls you from an area that you're not interested in being a part of, it's okay to say, I really appreciate your insight and your information. I'm not sure if I like that part of the country. But I would love to talk to you about it, but I'm not sure if this is the right fit for me. You should have those parameters before you go into these calls. So I think one of the do's is, as hard as it is to, let me say it like this. You want something from us. As an athlete, you want a college coach to recruit you. Okay. But we also want something from you. We want you to want to come to our program if we're willing to recruit you. And so what that means is that you have just as much value in this process as we do. So you should be interviewing us as much as we are interviewing you. So when it comes to your non-negotiables or what you're looking for in the program, you should be asking those types of questions. So I was actually prepping my athletes for that this week in our calls, where we're talking about having conversations with coaches. What are our non-negotiables? So one athlete would say, I'll give you an example. One athlete would ask the question or say to me that one of her non-negotiables was that she likes a family environment, right? She wants to go to a program that has a family environment. And I asked her, well, what do you really want to know about the question you're going to ask about that? And what she really wanted to know was, does the team hang out outside of going to dinner or outside of the games? Do they go to dinners? Do they hang out for basketball games or football games? Do they hang out in each other's rooms? If I need something because I don't have my family close by, will you, how does the team work with that process? So I would ask you in this process to think about not the light question around like, oh, are you guys a family? But more of like, what do you really want to know? I want to know, do you guys spend time with each other outside of softball? Okay. Do you have fun just as much as you compete? Right. And so ask that question. Make sense? So don't just give them fluff, give them real, right? That's a non-negotiable for you. So if they say, well, we just sort of, we do practice and they kind of hang out when they want to, then that's kind of a red flag for you. And that's okay. Have the red flag, if that makes sense. So you want to ask questions like that. Okay. Another example would be, Another good one is, I am a rise ball pitcher. What does your top pitcher do right now that keeps her in the lineup? And this is giving you an answer of like, well, what do I need to do to kind of earn that spot? And what do I need to do to earn your trust to have that spot? Make sense? So you're asking those complex questions based off of your strengths that gets you the answer. So not only is it off your non-negotiables, but also off your strengths. What's up, Peyton? What's up, Jill? What's up, Steph? What's up, Coach Jay? Thanks for joining, y'all. I appreciate it. So these are kind of the questions you want to be thinking about. Here's another one. Let's see. Let me give you one more here. I am a contact hitter. I don't hit a lot of home runs, but I do a great job of moving runners. And I believe that moving runners helps us get closer to the opportunity to score. So when you're picking your lineup, what are some things that you're looking for in a contact hitter? Okay. How do you value a contact hitter in your lineup? Now you're talking to your strengths, and we're getting them to answer the question of, do they value that or appreciate that, or do they not? So start to think about those questions. It's okay to ask those sort of complex, harder questions. It actually makes us feel good because it makes us know that you understand your strengths, that you understand the dynamics of a game, that you can understand that how it could easily be comfortable for somebody to try to be somebody that they're not. And how you could be putting on like a blinder to these coaches versus saying like, hey, no, this is what I have. This is what I'm good at. Do you like it? And if you don't, that's okay. Then this is not the right school for me. So treat it as much as an interview for you, as much as it is an interview for them. Okay. So, I love that question, and I'm going to end it here with saying this. I posted something yesterday. I got a ton of likes and a ton of views from it. So I'm super glad that you guys are following and joining in. But here's what I want you to remember. Okay. There are some programs out there that are just not for you. There are some programs out there that are not your fit. And for whatever you do, they just don't see your value added to their program. It does not, though, change the fact that you are valuable. Makes sense? So just because people don't see your value does not mean that you're not valuable, right? You are unique, you are valuable, and you are enough. And at the end of the day, when you recognize your own value, you allow people to see that, and you will find the people that value that the most. What one coach doesn't like about you, man, there's going to be 10 other coaches that love that about you. And you want to go somewhere where you are loved and appreciated and not liked. Okay. Because like can wear off, but love, there can be good, there can be bad, but I'm always going to have your back. And that's what you want. Make sense? So I just want to let you guys all know that I'm super proud of y'all. Next week, I'm gonna have an announcement just about some things I've been doing in my 21 days of prayer with my church. And, as always, just know that like you are unique, valuable enough. Out of 8 billion people in the world, there's only one of you, which makes you that, right? So nothing that you can do in this sport or game can change that about you. So keep that in mind. God loves you. Coach Carter loves you. I'm always here to give you some insight as much as I can. If you're ever interested in being a part of our Elite 360 Athlete program, let me know. You can send me a DM of the word elite, and I will get back with you after you answer a few questions. And if not, we will see you again next week. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all for joining. All right. Have a good night. Peace.